Hello, my name is Tiernan McGreevy. I am 18 years old and a high school senior at Pemberton Township High School. I am the president of the Interact Club, the historian of the Anime Club, and a member of the National Honor Society. I have been diagnosed with a form of autism, specifically pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified or other. I was also diagnosed with a multitude of other disorders that affected me as a child and some that affect me still today. Oppositional defiant disorder, sensory processing disorder, and several others I don't care to remember. I was diagnosed before the age of 3, so I can't remember ever not knowing that I had autism. But I know I'm just more than my disability. When I was younger, I was nonverbal, so it was a struggle for me to communicate. I was self-injurious and aggressive, and my frustration of being unable to communicate often led me to hurt myself and others. I used to focus intently on dinosaurs and trains to the detriment of everything else. My sensory issues prevented me from eating more than pancakes and chicken for several years. My days consisted of routines and therapies. My parents did not know if I would ever be independent or even be able to function without an aid. Today I try to share my story with peers and adults in the hopes that it may help them understand how autism can affect a person. Now I am very empathetic and friendly. I volunteer at school and in my community so I can make a difference in the world. I love to learn all about types of subjects and I'm an excellent student. I will be attending college in the fall and plan on living in a dorm. While I still struggle, I have managed to create a life that fulfills me and challenges me in the best ways. My mother has always challenged me to advocate for myself. I attend IEP meetings in my school as well as other conferences and trainings so that I can decide what matters to me in my education. My mother and I talk a lot about what I want to do in my future and how I see my life going so we can work together to make sure that I reach my goals. At my IEP meetings, I am able to talk about my interests and what I want to achieve in my life. We then work together to think of ways that the school and other organizations can help me achieve those goals. The best part of this process is that I know I'm supported. While I may not always know what I want to achieve, my team helps me create goals and reach them. When I was younger, I needed occupational, speech, physical, and feeding therapy. All of this intense therapy when I was younger helped me learn how to cope with many of my issues and establish greater self-control. Now that I'm able to communicate more, I have a greater tolerance and am able to adapt more easily, and have been able to limit the accommodations and modifications I use at school. For example, I used to be unable to handle loud noises, but over time, both with the help of my mother and various teachers and such, I managed to be able to cope with loud noises such as being in a cafeteria or other situations. The main reason that I can function without the accommodations is because of the excellent relationships with my guidance counselor, child study team, and teachers. By communicating with each of these team members, there is an understanding of my particular quirks, and I'm able to adjust if needed. Now my main modifications are usually extended time and small group testing. I also try to communicate consistently with my teachers so that they can see if I need a little extra support or if I get overwhelmed. It's never a matter of can I do it, it's always how can the people around me help me to do it. I am grateful to all the wonderful people around me who help me each day. When people talk about setting goals, I realize that I approach things differently. I don't formally think about goals, but when an opportunity is presented to me, I take it and run with it. For example, one day a teacher needed help carrying a box for a food drive, so I volunteered to help. Fast forward 4 years, I'm the president of the Interact Club, which is pretty much our school's equivalent of the Rotary Club. And I volunteered hundreds of hours for many causes. For instance, the other day we had a St. Patrick's Day party for the seniors at the senior center, and so pretty much we just gave the seniors fun night of activities and such. My gym teacher said I should try, so I tried running, so I joined the track team. My choir teacher came into my study hall freshman year and said we needed to take a fine arts class to graduate, so they might as well join choir. At the time, I never sang a note, but now I'm a member of our school's elite choirs and have earned principal roles in Beauty and the Beast and Willy Wonka. All of my teachers encouraged me to excel in school, and now I'm earning scholarships for college. While none of these endeavors were easy, I've decided to try because I can. This is not to say that I've succeeded in everything I've attempted, but the point is, I do not allow my autism or my anxieties to hold me back. I want to be as proud of myself as my mother is of me. In regards to my social life, I tend to speak incoherently if I do not concentrate on speaking. I find that I need to take a breath or organize my thoughts. I tend to be shy when meeting others, but practicing public speaking and taking advantage of opportunities to get out of my comfort zone, such as this, have helped to improve my communication skills. Participating in so many activities helps me to form relationships with other people. While I manage to get along well in school with my peers, I tend to keep to myself outside of school. What I hope to impart to you today is, while they may struggle in certain areas, individuals with autism and other disabilities deserve the same respect and dignity as anyone else. Supporting a person with a disability helps ensure that they have an equal chance at work and life as anyone else. I would not be where I am today without support from my family, my schools, and my peers. Never allow a label to stop you from being who you are, and challenge yourself to go outside your comfort zone. It will help you realize your true potential and help define who you are. Dare to dream, you never know where life may take you.
Okay, the number one question that bubbles over everyone's head are reading right now. How do you have time to actually go to classes? Yeah, you do so much. So the number two thing I imagine is that everyone's thinking, oh my God, I don't do anything compared to him. Everyone's different. You have to do what attracts you to something, right? You're not doing all these things because you want to be busy, because they interest you, correct?
Yes.
And you adapt. Your ability to adapt to loud sounds in that environment, I mean, hats off, my friend. That's very courageous. What bit of advice do you give people in terms of doing something outside of their comfort zone?
I guess my main advice would be to just take a chance. Many of the things I ended up getting involved in after school, I just more or less just sort of jumped in on a whim. Mainly the musical. I didn't attend the musical the first year because I was still getting in, learning to see a choir and such was a good class for me. Though my sophomore year, I just sort of jumped in for the heck of it and ended up staying with the musical for the next 2 years afterwards.
Outstanding. And I love your two mantras. Share those quotes with me again in terms about you can't do it alone. How you like to say that people with you can help you do it together, correct?
Yes.
That's amazing. And your other mantra about adapting, that's just fantastic. And the fact that you've been able to do this and in 4 years is amazing. And also congratulations on your plans to have after high school. Ladies and gentlemen, Tiernan.